everybody, a very warm welcome. Welcome to Bump to Baby. And this is Sonali Shivlani. I am the host, the manager, the owner of this circle where we talk about everything from pregnancy to new parenthood. So the topic that I have selected to discuss with you today is breastfeeding and the right start. And the whole idea is that, many times when I'm with new parents in the hospital, when I'm doing my lactation visits, there are a lot of questions and there are a lot of concerns. And many times we don't get to meet parents in the hospital because these counselors or these facilities are not available in many maternity spaces. So then, therefore, it kind of becomes, we meet the parents after a month, maybe 2 months, and then a lot of breastfeeding difficulties have already started. So keeping that in perspective, I thought that I'm going to dedicate today's session to talking about getting the right start as far as breastfeeding is concerned. So let's start at the moment of birth. What is happening when the baby is born? The baby is going through a lot of contractions, powerful movements, a lot of pushing, and then barrels out of this really narrow, dark space into the outside world. Even if the baby is born surgically, the baby is abruptly lifted out from the quiet, cocoon-like environment to a bright and noisy world. So the baby is obviously overwhelmed and scared, and the only thing that the baby recognizes is the mother's heartbeat, the mother's voice, the mother's smell. So now nature has designed it so beautifully. Place the baby on the mother's chest. It is going to feel comforted because it's hearing the mother's heartbeat, feeling the mother, being cuddled by the mother, held cozy and snug by the mother, and therefore the baby tends to calm down. Keeping this in perspective, the best start that you can do is as soon as possible after birth, the baby should be placed on the mother's chest. Sometimes this may not be absolutely possible. We completely understand that because the doctors want to examine the baby, the pediatrician's waiting. Fair enough. Let this happen, and then thereafter, once everything's been done, the first thing that the baby and the mother should do is meet each other, not the relatives, right? Now, once the baby is with the mother, try and ensure that you are putting the baby to the chest every 2 hours so that the baby starts getting the sense of, okay, this is a position, this is something that I have to do regularly. You also have to understand the baby has no idea as to this is where milk comes from, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do to fill my stomach, this is what is meant by feeling hungry, and so on and so forth. So keeping all of this in place, the mother needs to teach the baby the different breastfeeding positions, and that will ensure that the baby starts liking to breastfeed, starts getting adapted to breastfeeding, figures out that this is where food is and this is how I'm going to get it, right? Whenever I ask moms this question the first time in the hospital, how is breastfeeding going for you? The answer generally is, I'm not making any milk. And, the simple answer I have to give them is that 100% of mothers, note that term, 100% of mothers do not make breast milk in the first 48 to 72 hours of the baby's life. So what are they making? They are making colostrum. Colostrum is very rich in antibodies, so excellent for the baby, helps to build the baby's immune system, and it's also very rich in laxatives. So it helps to clear out the baby's stomach of all the meconium. Now, once the baby kind of, gets the colostrum in their mouth, it's just a few drops. And many times mothers are worrying, is this enough? Well, of course it's enough. If you would look at the size of your baby's tummy, it's the size of a marble at the time the baby is born. and the capacity is just about 5 to 7 ml. So now do the math. If the mom's making a few drops, then the baby is getting enough. And we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to get stressed about it. We don't need to get anxious about it at all, right? What is it that makes the milk supply increase? I have a few golden rules. The first and foremost is feed often. The more the stimulation, the faster the milk will start. The more the stimulation, the more milk the mother will make. Now, stimulation means actually proper stimulation. It should not be just, okay, fine, we're just putting the baby there. The ideal situation is that the baby's mouth has to be wide open. The baby has to take a major portion of the areola. Again, not the whole areola, a major portion of the areola in the mouth. Now, the baby is going to fall asleep. And the mother looks at me with a big question mark on her face. Why is the baby fast asleep? Well, because the baby still doesn't know that the baby has to do this. And then that naturally becomes a challenge. So the best way is wake up the baby, unswaddle the baby. Let the baby not feel so snug and cozy and allow the baby to latch in that state. So if the baby is not feeling snug and cozy, the baby is obviously a little uncomfortable. The baby will stay awake and this will encourage the baby to move their mouth at the breast. Should it feel uncomfortable? The answer is absolutely not. I would actually say breastfeeding gives you 3 sensations. Sensation 1, super thirsty. You feel really thirsty while breastfeeding. So keep a bottle of water right next to you so that when you feel thirsty, you can keep sipping on water. The golden rule here is 1 glass of water per session of breastfeeding. And you typically need to breastfeed your baby 8 to 12 times in 24 hours. So we're looking at you having approximately 12 glasses of water while you're a breastfeeding mom. Now the second sensation that you're going to feel is hunger, right? Fun, right? I mean, you're burning so many calories while breastfeeding. So this is going to help you feel a lot more hungry, which means that you should have lots and lots of healthy snacks handy. Dry fruits, macanas, khakras, maybe some, lactation bars, something which is going to help you feel comfortable in case you can't get the regular food. So if it's lunchtime and dinner time and breakfast time, of course, you should definitely eat your main meals. But if it's the middle of the night, if, it's evening and nobody's around, so you don't want to get up while you're feeding, so then this is something that can really help you. Now, what's the third sensation? The third sensation is if breastfeeding is going right, then you are also going to feel sleepy. You'll feel like dozing off. You'll feel like switching off because breast milk production means, and if it's being done optimally, it will mean an increase in an oxytocin rush. And when that happens, that's going to make you feel really calm and sedate and happy and all of those lovely, nice things. So breastfeeding can make you feel sleepy and lethargic. So when you're getting all these 3 sensations, hunger, thirst, and sleepiness, then you know that probably breastfeeding is off to a great start. How long should a baby breastfeed? Well, I would say let the baby decide. It's good for the baby to learn their own hunger cues and learn their own satiety cues. But in the beginning, the mother will have to assist, will have to dictate a little bit. And the way you're going to do this is by keeping a little tab on the clock, minimum 8 feeds in 24 hours, and each feed should be at least 15 minutes long. Should I offer both sides? You can. It again depends on the baby. But if you're going to breastfeed on both sides, then your first side has to be a minimum of 10 minutes and then the second side can be offered. It's always good to drain the breast because your body needs to get the signal that it's empty. Let's fill it up. And unless and until you empty the breast, the signal to fill it up may not be strong enough. So try and keep the baby on the first breast a little longer and then switch if the baby is still interested in feeding a little bit more. Right? Now, this kind of a routine can last you for almost the first 15 days of life. After this, trust me, most babies will learn to set their own schedule. They will learn their own routine. And that is going to be extremely helpful. So I have a little scenario for you. You're really lucky. Your baby goes to sleep at 12 in the night and wakes up at 4 in the morning. That's not the 3 hours that we spoke about. That's a little longer. Is that okay? Baby is about 20 days old. Can I let the baby sleep through for 4 hours at night? Absolutely yes, you can. But can I let the baby sleep through for another 4 hours during the day? Absolutely no. If the baby is taking multiple long naps in a day, that also is a problem. You need to wake up the baby often, especially during the day, so that the baby can finish the required feeds, can finish the required calorie intake, and that is what is going to help the baby grow and not have any kind of dehydration issues, right? Slowly, this schedule can become better, better, and better. I mean, I remember both my kids, when they were younger, they would really, by the time they were about 2 months old, they were happily sleeping through for about 5 to 6 hours at a stretch, and this was at night. But what I had to do was be pretty much available around the clock, feed them every 2 hours during the daytime, because there was a need for them to finish their calorie requirements, right? Now, the diet of the mother generally becomes a great question mark. A lot of families want you to eat X, Y, and Z, and lots of ghee, and things like jeera, methi, and there's a lot of restrictions also, right? Don't have this, don't have that. Honestly, as long as you're eating healthy, eating a balanced diet, there is absolutely no restriction to what you can and cannot eat, as long as it's healthy, right? So simple no-nos would be: don't have alcohol, don't do drugs. If there are any medications that need to be taken, please consult with your doctor before you take them. So that is something that you will have to be super careful about and make sure that you do not goof up on. But otherwise, if you eat a little bit of chola, if you eat a little bit of ice cream, it's perfectly okay. What really makes breastfeeding work is happy moms. If a mom is relaxed, if the mom is chill, if the mom kind of is satisfied, happy, then that is going to get those good hormones flowing, especially oxytocin. And that will make the mother feel positive and ensure a good breastfeeding supply. It's important for mothers to have a lot of support, right? Mothers are going to feel positive only when the environment around them is positive. So if you are around a mother who's trying to breastfeed, say only nice things to her. Say only positive things to her. Don't tell her, oh, your breast is too small, oh, you're not making enough milk, oh, your baby's crying all the time, oh, your baby's hungry, or, anything and everything. Like, let's start the bottle, let's give some formula. Why are you trying to torture your baby? That's not something that should be said to a mother who is really putting her heart and soul and efforts into getting the breastfeeding journey started right. So give her a lot of positivity, give her a lot of positive reinforcement. That is going to help her to get going and get started in the correct sense. Thank you everyone for being a part of this podcast and this channel. We look forward to your following us and being a part of our regular set of listeners. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you for watching. For more such videos, do like, share and subscribe to The First Parents.